Hello there, beauty ravers, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Raven, and this is where I like to rave about beauty. If you would ever so kindly hit that like and subscribe button to become part of my little family here on YouTube, it means so much to me. Now, without further ado, let's jump on into the video. Hi guys, today we are decluttering my eyeshadow palette, and I have a ton. Like, holy guacamole, do I have a ton, and we need to get it condensed down. I haven't counted anything in my makeup collection in well over a year, pushing 2 years, and even then, if I'm being honest, I never really counted my stuff. So, I don't really know how many I have, but I have a feeling it's over 100. Yeah, I do. I have a feeling it's over 100. So how I want to do this is I want to guess how many I have, then I will count them, tell you how many I actually have, then we will set a goal for how many I would like to declutter today, and then we will jump right into the decluttering process. However, I already know this video is going to be super duper long, so definitely go grab yourself a snack, but also I'm going to cut this up into 2 different parts. And hopefully it'll be a little bit shorter, less of a time crunch, but I still imagine this video is going to be really long, so grab that snack. But let's get on into it. So I'm gonna guess that I have, like I said, over 100. I know it's a lot, guys. It's a lot. But how many over 100? You know, 130, 130, 135. I'm gonna go with 136. Okay, that's my guess. I'm locking it in, and now let me go count. Okay, guys, you know, I already knew it was bad, but I had no idea just how bad. It is, 170, you heard me right, 170 eyeshadow palettes. You know when you're, like, addicted to something, but then you don't know how addicted you are to said something, so then you go through and you count said something and you realize you need rehab. Palette rehab, is that a thing? Maybe we should make that a thing. For me, yeah, am I the only one? I can't be the only one out there. I'm laughing at myself right now. This is kind of, it's a lot. It's over consuming. If I'm being honest, I'm not very proud of this. I will say I've collected these over time, so it's not like, you know, wham bam, I bought 170 palettes out the door, you know, yesterday, but it's still way too many, and I do want to pass down a lot of these. I would like to declutter 70 palettes. I don't know if that's gonna happen because it's like pulling teeth with me. I really do love my makeup. It's like my children, and even though I have an abundance of it, it's still very hard for me to let go of. But I would love to get that to 100, or even less would be preferable. Yeah, I'm gonna say 70. I really feel like it's not gonna be that easy, but we're gonna try our best, okay? We're gonna try our best. Let's dive on into it. I am counting the palettes that I have in the mail coming to me, so you won't see those in the video, but just know that they exist. They're on their way. And I also counted things that I have for future giveaways, so technically 4 of those palettes aren't mine. Yeah, it's not a lot, but it is 4 for a giveaway, and so those I didn't include in this counting just because they're technically palettes that I do own. Okay, I'm rambling way too much considering how long this video is going to be, so let's go through them, shall we? So the first one we have here is the by Modelrock's Radioactive Palette, and I am definitely not getting rid of this. This is going absolutely nowhere. This was in my 2020 favorites video, and it's a favorite for a reason. It is so, so beautiful. It's a neon palette, as you can see. I love it, so we're keeping her. Next, I have the Hip Dot Zion palette, and I recently got this as a gift. I will be doing a collaboration video here with my good friend Embolism C, aka Marilyn. I will be doing a collab with this palette here very soon, so please stay tuned for that. So obviously, we're keeping it. Then I have the Wicked Sisters in Your Dream Freddy Krueger inspired eyeshadow palette. I have a video with this palette on my channel. Please go check that out. I'll try to remember to link it in the cards, but because this is such a long video, I'm not sure if I will. But it is on my channel. It's a great one. I honestly love this palette a lot. This is such a good palette. It does contain 2 pressed glitters, which I'm not a fan of, but it's pretty great besides that, so I will be keeping it. So I'm trying to be a little bit organized. It's kind of hard because there's so many of them, but I am trying to keep them categorized by brand. So those 3, I only had 1 from each of those brands, but now let's jump into Colourpop because we need to get through those, huh? Don't we? I feel like everyone on YouTube has a collection of Colourpop. It just kind of happens. It does. They release so much, you just end up accumulating so many of their things. You know, you have one, you have two, next thing you know, you have 15. You know, it just happens. I don't know how many Colourpop palettes I have, but I know I have too many. The first one we have here is in its box. I don't keep boxes usually, but I mean, it's the Baby Yoda. Obviously, I'm going to keep Grogu. He's back there in my background as well, so, you know, obviously we want the box on that one. So this is the Mandalorian palette from Colourpop, one of my favorite Colourpop palettes of all time, if I'm being honest. Beautiful grungy greens. I'm definitely not letting this go. Not only for the theming, but this beautiful color story. This was a palette that I feel like Colourpop nailed. They don't always nail their palettes, but this one was a good one. Next from Colourpop, I have the Sailor Moon collaboration that they did. Oh, this is a shameful one. I actually have not used this palette. Don't come for me, guys. The problem is, it's not really my color story to begin with, but the theming got me. And I'm really trying to be better about that this year, because packaging, for some reason in the past, has really drawn me in, sometimes when it shouldn't have. I love Sailor Moon, like so much. And like for display purposes, this is super duper cute. And I'm not really mad about the purchase I made with this one. I will be keeping it, but color story wise, it's just not for me. And also, I've seen so many reviews saying it's not that great, and it's kind of turned me off from it. And it's sad, because I haven't even given it a shot myself, which, you know, I shouldn't do that. I should let my own opinions shine through, instead of being, like, persuaded by other people to not like it. I haven't used it, but I really do want to dive into this at some point soon, so I'm definitely keeping it. I say I'm trying to be better about buying things just for packaging when I just bought the Colourpop Animal Crossing collaboration, but that one really tickled my feathers. There are certain things that you can buy for display. I mean, I have my Pop figurines. I don't play with them, but they are for display, and I love them, and I have a lot of them. You can buy things if you love them for display purposes. It's totally fine. If you want to do that, go ahead and do that. I do it sometimes, and I'm okay with that. You just need to know that in advance. When I bought this, I wanted to actually love the palette. So that wasn't really a bought for display, but it became display, if that makes sense. I'm trying to be better about that. If I'm buying a palette for the inside, I want to really be buying it for the inside. I'm talking way too much. I'm keeping it, okay? Next, I have the My Little Pony palette. I wanted this for so long, guys. I actually ended up getting this on Postmark, because when this palette released, that was when I first heard of Colourpop, and I was like, I don't know. Are they going to be good? Are they going to be bad? I didn't want to take the risk, so I didn't purchase it, and then it got discontinued, and my heart was sad and longing for this palette for so long. I can't remember which month in 2020 I purchased this, but I remember I treated myself because I was having a bad week, and I was sad, and I saw it on Postmark. It was only $8. I got a really good deal on it, so I'm not mad about it. It is really cute. I do really like this one, and I like the looks I created with it, so I am going to keep it. I haven't decluttered anything so far. I'm doing terrible. Then we have the Little Ray of Sunshine palette. This one is super cute. It is a all matte palette, but I really love the shades of yellow in here. I think it's really cute. I love yellow eyeshadow, so of course I'm going to be keeping this. I honestly really like Colourpop's formula most of the time. Not a fan of all the pressed glitters they love to throw in palettes, but besides the glitters, I really do enjoy them. So next, you think I'm done with Colourpop, but I'm not. So I have the In a Trance palette, and here's the deal with this one. I actually have two. This one's still in its box because when I received this one, it had a shadow missing. So I reached out to Colourpop, of course, and they sent me the replacement one. Here's the issue. I kind of wish I hadn't have done that, because I don't really like this. It's okay. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think I need it in my collection, and the fact that I made them send me a whole nother one, it's just like, I mean, yes, I get it. I deserve all the shadows, right? I paid for all the shadows. But at the same time, it's like, I really didn't need it. Like, it's just not... I don't know. I mentioned this in my top 10 winter eyeshadow palettes because this does look like a winter wonderland in my opinion. And it's not like terrible quality. It's just a lot more soft than I need it to be. If I'm playing with pastels, I want them to still be bright and powerful, but just lighter. This is more like softer, if that makes sense. I can layer these and I can get them to become more opaque, but it just takes a little bit more time than I would like to have to. And I have a few pastel palettes I don't have to do that with that I prefer personally, so I am going to let this one go, and I'm also going to let this one go. I'll find somebody who will use these. I know I will, okay? Then I have the Baby Got Peach palette, and this one is cute. I like this one. It's an orange palette. Obviously, it's peach, you know. They love their monochromatic palettes, and for a while there, I did too. I'm getting a little burnt out on them now, Colourpop. You can slow it down. But when this released, I was still all about it, and I think this is really cute, and I will be keeping it. Another monochromatic. Actually, the rest of my Colourpop palettes are monochromatic. This is the Blue Moon, and I really like this one as well. I have heard people compare this to the BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop palette Bubblegum, and I have that palette as well. I think that one's better. Personally, the quality of the formula, in my opinion, I like better, but I do still like this one, and I am going to be keeping it. But just in case you're looking for a monochromatic blue palette and you don't know which one to get, I recommend the BH Cosmetics one over the Colourpop one. But the Colourpop one is still good. No shade thrown on that one. I actually do like it. I'm keeping it. We see that. Next we have the Lilac You a Lot palette, and this is a cute purple palette. I want more purple palettes. I know. I'm sitting here with 170 palettes, guys, and I want more. I have an addiction. I have a problem. I need help. But this is really cute. I just want more deeper purples. This is a more lighter purple palette, and it's gorgeous. Again, no shade. It's gorgeous for what it is. I just want more depth within my purple collection. So this is staying. And last but not least, I have the Mint to Be palette. Now this one is super duper cute, and I do really enjoy this. I actually passed on the new e.l.f. Mint Melt palette because of this one, because I just think it was very similar, and if you already have this, you probably don't need the e.l.f. one. However, maybe you do. I'm not here to judge you if you think you do. I just really like this one, and I like mint colors. I mean, my shirt's like this mint turquoisey color today. I really like this, and I'm going to keep it. Speaking of e.l.f. though, let's go through the e.l.f. little bite-sized palettes I have. I have this one. This is not the full mint one, but it is from the Mint Melt collection. This is my newest one, and this is the Chocolate Mint palette. It is super cute. I like it, and I will be keeping it. I think I'm going to keep all my e.l.f. palettes, actually, but let's go through them anyway. Then I have the Acai You palette. This is the blue one. I have the Rose Water one, Carnival Candy, Pumpkin Pie, and Hot Jalapeno. I really like the e.l.f. bite-sized eyeshadow palettes. They're the only eyeshadow palettes I own from e.l.f., but I really like all of them, so I am going to keep them all. Also, I totally recommend them if you're looking for an affordable eyeshadow palette. You only get 4 shadows, but they're also only $3. I think the new mint ones are $4. I'm not really sure why that is, but regardless, the quality is actually really good for being so affordable. So, highly recommend that if you're in the market for it. Next, I have my Zoeva palettes, and I don't think I'm getting rid of any of these either. I'm doing horrible at this declutter, guys. I promise you, I know that there are some things I will be getting rid of, okay? I promise. We're getting there. But this is the Caramel Melange palette, and I love this palette. And it's funny because it is basic. I mean, this is the most neutral thing I have in my collection, probably. It's not exciting, no, but the quality is really good. It's a German indie brand, so we love that. And also, I really like it. If I want a neutral look, this is one of those palettes that I know I can dip into, and I don't have to worry about how it comes out, because it's going to come out amazing no matter what. This is the Premier palette from Zoeva. A little bit more color, but still pretty subtle. Zoeva's not really known to be a very bright, bam, wham, thank you, ma'am kind of brand. But they do have beautiful, more subtle eyeshadow palettes I feel like are very more mature and just really nice for everyday occasions. I really like this palette, and I'm keeping it. And lastly, I have the Aristo palette, and this is beautiful. The packaging and everything, I really like this one. This is probably my favorite of the 3, if I'm being honest. It's just really pretty. Again, more subtle formula, but it's still really nice, and I like how it blends. These palettes blend so nicely. They're not overly pigmented, but they are pigmented enough. Again, I think they're really good for everyday looks, and I really like it, so I'm keeping all 3 of them. Then I have this Laura Lee Cat's Pajamas palette. This is actually a gift from one of my brother's girlfriends, and this is cute. I've had it for far too long, and I really don't use it anymore, but it was good, and I used it a lot when I first got it, so I'm gonna let it go. But actually, I hit pan on this one shadow. I rarely ever hit pan on anything because I just have so much, but I actually hit pan, and I was like really proud of myself, so yeah. But it's past its time. I don't really reach for it anymore, so I'm gonna let this one go. So I guess now we can tackle my BH Cosmetics palettes because I have a lot of them. So the first one I have here is the Blush Neutrals 26 color eyeshadow and blush palette. And it's one of those giant palettes that I don't love anymore. I actually much prefer smaller palettes nowadays, but I have a lot of big palettes in my collection because back in the day, Raven loved things like this. Does this remind you of anything? You know who I'm talking about. It starts with an M. Any guesses? But yeah, I don't need this. I really just don't, and I'm going to let it go. Another giant BH Cosmetics palette. Oh my goodness. Who are you? This one is the Neutral Eyes 28 color eyeshadow palette. Do you remember when BH was really like into these giant palettes? I have a lot of them and I don't really know why. I believe I got these on a really good sale though at Target after Christmas. It was like $2 an eyeshadow palette. So I mean, can you blame me? I don't think so. This is a few years old though now. I really didn't use this much then. I haven't really used it since, and I don't really see myself using it anytime in the future. So even though it was $2, it was kind of a regret. So I am going to let this one go. Back at it again with another giant eyeshadow palette that I absolutely do not need. So this is the Foil Eyes 2 28 color eyeshadow palette from BH Cosmetics, of course. And these are all shimmers, but can you really call them that? They're not very impactful shimmers. Here's the funny thing. When I bought this, I was only doing matte looks, so I don't know why I thought I needed this. I rarely used this. It's very sad, and I want to cry. I have this drawer in my room where I was keeping all of these, and I guess it's the drawer where eyeshadow palettes go to die because these don't get used. So I need them to go, especially because they're huge and they take up so much room. Am I right? Am I right? Now I'm getting into my BH Cosmetics palettes that I actually do like. So we have the Little Bit Psycho palette from the Drop Dead Gorgeous collection. This was their Halloween collection for 2020, and I didn't pick up the full-on crazy eyeshadow palette, but this one I thought was super duper cute. And here's the thing, again, theming. I was looking everywhere for Halloween palettes and this was one of the first ones I saw, so I bought it. I need to stop doing that. However, if I'm being honest, it's a really good eyeshadow palette. Their formula has really been upped the past year and a half or so. I'm really impressed with where BH Cosmetics is going and I can't wait to see what they do next. But this is a good eyeshadow palette. As much as I don't think I needed it, I am happy it's in my collection and it will be staying. And then I have my Sweet Shop palettes, and I love every single one of these, so let's go through them. I have the Cotton Candy one. This is the first one I purchased, and after purchasing this, I was hooked. I actually picked both of these up in the same order, and when I tried these, was the first time trying BH in over a year. Obviously, I had the older palettes, but I hadn't tried their new formula, and I had heard great things that they were doing better and they were improving, so I decided to pick up 2 of their palettes, and oh my goodness, am I glad I did. Maybe a little bit too glad because now I think I have a little bit of an addiction, but this is so pretty. I love this so much. It's pink and purple and cute, and the shimmers are crazy good. The mattes are super pigmented and blendable. I'm just very happy with this, and that's why I had to pick up the Bubblegum palette and the Pistachio when they restocked. I just had to. I'm sorry, the Cotton Candy was just so good. These had to be mine. So the first one, again, is the Bubblegum one. This is just so pretty. I love blues. Like I said, I prefer this one over the Colourpop Blue Moon. So if you're looking for a monochromatic blue palette, this is probably it, in my opinion. And then also the Pistachio. This one is, I mean, I love green, so I absolutely had to have this. When I found out the formula was as good as it is, I was like, I need the green palette. I need it, I need it, I need it now. I needed it yesterday, you know? So like I had to grab it, and I am so happy it's in my collection now. This is such a great palette. Highly recommend all of these BH Cosmetic palettes. They're all staying, by the way. Next, I have the Sylvia Ghani collaboration with BH Cosmetics. I believe that's how you say her name. I'm honestly not familiar with her, but this palette is gorgeous, and I got it for like $6 at Marshall's. I was so happy, and I'm so glad I picked it up. I will be keeping it. I will say the BH Cosmetics formula on that one isn't as good as the Sweet Shop palette, but I do like it enough to keep it in my collection. I love the grungy jewel tones, so that's why I'm keeping it. Then we have the Shan XO or Shan XO. I'm not really sure. I'm not familiar with her either. I'm sorry, but I love the format of this palette and had to pick it up when I saw it at Marshall's, again for like $6. Okay, so you get this side, which is super cute. Of course, we love that. But what my favorite part about this palette is you get this side too. I know that some brands are starting to pick up on this. I know Pure had the Raw Beauty Crispy one, but I had not seen this before, this palette, and I thought it was the cutest concept ever. It's not the most revolutionary color story in my opinion. It's not my favorite color story either, but I really do enjoy it, and I have used it a few times and created some pretty cute looks, so I think it's going to stick around for a little while longer. Then I have the Galaxy Chic palette, and honestly, I'm on the fence about keeping this. It's a baked formula all shimmer palette, which is super cute. I love it, and the shimmers are actually, they're not the most powerful shimmers I have in my collection, but they're pretty good. They're pretty good. I also got this for $9 at Marshall's, and my fiance is the one who actually told me to buy this. I was like, which one should I get, babe? And he was like, that one. It's cute. It's space themed. And I was like, okay, I'll go with it, you know? And so, I don't know, it's a cute memory, it's a cute palette, but I really don't think I need it. I never use it. I'm gonna let somebody else get some love out of this one. They kinda hurt. They kinda hurt. This is gonna be challenging, I can already tell. Okay. Then I have the Take Me to Brazil palette. I have not used this palette yet, don't come for me. But I got it at a super good deal. I think it was like $10, which is half off of what it usually is. And I wanted to try this because one of my friends told me that this is an amazing palette. And since I love BH Cosmetics now, I decided I would pick it up on her recommendation. It is a rainbow palette. I'm not a huge fan of how tiny the pans are. Not because I need a huge pan. I really don't, because I'm never going to go through it. I probably won't ever hit pan even on these, but just because I use pretty large fluffy blending brushes, and I feel like it'll work, but I almost just don't, I don't know why it bugs me, but it kind of does. I also don't think I needed something this large. I also probably didn't need another rainbow palette. There's a lot of things against it, but there's also a lot of things for it. I hear it's really good. I do love brights and rainbow colors. I'm not mad it's here. I'm gonna use it, I promise you that, and I'm gonna keep it, so yeah. And the last BH Cosmetics palette I own is the Color Festival. I actually did a giveaway with this palette on my channel. This is the first giveaway I ever did, and I did it for when I hit 50 subscribers. Guys, it's crazy to think, oh, I have over 300 now. I'm so beyond grateful. I can't. Anyway, back to the palette. This is a great palette, and I love the look I created using this. I've used it a couple times since, and I really do enjoy it still. And I'm very happy that I was able to gift this to a loyal subscriber of mine. Hi, Karen. I hope you're still enjoying yours. I'm gonna keep this palette. I have two alter ego palettes, and this one is the Blooms, and this one is the Goddess, and I actually mentioned both of these in my January favorites video. I love these palettes so much. I did a look with the Blooms palette on my channel, so go check that out. This is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Love palette, and I don't own her palette, so I'm very happy to have this one now in my collection. It's not going anywhere. I'm very, very satisfied with Alter Ego in general, and I cannot wait to try more from them. This is a dupe for the Bronze palette from Natasha Denona, and I love this palette so much. I would never spend the kind of money Natasha Denona charges for a neutral palette just because I personally prefer color, but having a neutral palette for $16, yes, I'm so happy about it, and I love it, and I probably will be doing a video with this on my channel at some point, so stay tuned for that. But these are definitely not going anywhere. Why don't we knock out Kaleidos, because we know none of them are leaving my collection. We have the Electro Turquoise palette, and I love this so, so much. The packaging, stunning, gorgeous. We already know Kaleidos is notorious for their beautiful packaging. But you know what else they're notorious for? Beautiful color stories with amazing quality formula. Absolutely love this, and it's not going anywhere. I also did film a video with this palette, and it should be on my channel, so check that out. I've actually done a video with all of my Kaleidos palettes. That's how you can tell I love them. This is the Cyber Bronze palette. This was the first ever palette I tried from Kaleidos, and since this palette, I've been hooked, and I can't wait to try more. I want their Sci-Fi Green palette. They told me that they might be doing a revamped version of it because it's been out of stock for a long time. And I asked them, I was like, when are you restocking? I would love to pick it up. And they're like, actually, we're thinking about making a new version of it, which is super exciting. Kind of wish I had bought the old one, you know, to be honest, before it's no longer going to be existing, I guess. But But I am very excited to see what they do with that because it was already a gorgeous palette in my opinion. But anyway, this is the Cyber Bronze palette. She is beautiful. She is a stunner and we're definitely keeping her. Again, I have a video with this one on my channel as well, so check that out. And then lastly, my favorite Kaleidos palette. I know I only have 3, but it's my favorite of the 3. And it is the Club Nebula palette. This is gorgeous. It's actually what's on my eyes today. Can't really see it because my glasses are fogging up the show, but it's beautiful. I love it so much. I actually filmed both of these looks. They will be on my channel already when you're seeing this, so check that out. But I also did a first impressions with this palette. Angie did such an amazing job. I honestly can't get over this color story. It is so beautiful. I'm obsessed with it. It's the only thing I want to play with right now. Like, I've used it every single day since I've had it. It's just so, so good. And I love it. I love it so, so much. It's not going anywhere. I feel fancy just holding it. It literally makes my heart skip beats, and this is what everything should be in my collection, you know? I shouldn't have 170 palettes with okay formula. I should have a few palettes with this kind of formula, you know what I mean? So that's why we're doing this video. Trying to get the palettes I don't really need out so I can play more with the things I do really want. You know what I mean? Okay, so I have 2 Urban Decay palettes that I probably don't need either of, if I'm being honest. But at the same time, it's really hard for me to let them go. So let's go over it. I have the Wired palette, and if you've seen any of the reviews on it, you probably know that this isn't the most neon palette on the market right now because it's labeled as a neon palette, right? Beautiful color story. It would be amazing if it was actually as neon as it appears to be. But in my opinion, the Radioactive palette from By Melolops is what this palette wanted to be. If you're looking for a good neon palette, I highly recommend that one. By Melolops is an indie brand that I love and adore. And I love that palette, of course. We kept it. But the thing is, I don't think I need this one because I do have that one. I don't know. But at the same time, I'm thinking maybe it'd be fun to do a look where I use this palette on one eye and the Radioactive palette on the other eye and see the difference, because I'm telling you here, it's a huge difference. Like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. It's lackluster to say the least. Yeah, so I don't think I need to keep it, but at the same time, I kind of want to use it for reference and comparison. And I already paid money for it, so like, should I just do it, or should I let somebody else get more love out of this? Because I mean, I'm sure for a beginner this would be fun. It's not like terrible, but it's just not the most pigmented thing I own, and I expected a little bit more. But I think maybe I'm just expecting too much from Urban Decay, because here's the deal. I have the Naked Cherry palette as well. And when I got this, I was absolutely obsessed with it. I used it every single day. This palette got lots and lots of love, but I actually got this one as a gift, and it was a interesting gift. I loved it when I got it, and I used it so much. Now I swatch it, and I'm like, this is not very powerful. This is kind of boring. The color story is a lot less red than I like remember it being. I feel like in its time, it was something more, I don't know, special. And nowadays, we just have so many indie brands that are just killing the eyeshadow game, and this just doesn't compare. So it's like, I don't think I need it, but at the same time, I have so much nostalgia with it, and I again want to use it for comparison. I'm thinking that maybe Urban Decay just isn't that pigmented. Maybe we're expecting more from Urban Decay than we should be. You know, some people like a softer formula. It's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my preferred preference, and I think that's where I'm getting it twisted. I talk a lot of smack about Urban Decay, and it's not necessarily that it's a bad formula. It's just not my personal preference, and I need to remember that, because it could be yours or someone else's, you know what I mean? So I could pass this down and give it to someone who will love it, because maybe it's their preference. Or I could keep it and be selfish and just hoard it. So I don't know. I'm going to put it to the maybe pile because I don't know. I'm putting them both to the maybe pile, by the way. Now let's tackle my Revolution palettes, because that's a whole nother world. I have 7 Revolution palettes, so let's get through them. The first one I am decluttering. This is the Reloaded palette that they did. It's a pretty cute grungy color story, but the pigment just isn't there. It's alright. It's alright. I got it for $2 at Marshall's, so I'm basing it on the $2 mark, and yeah, for $2 I'm not mad. But it's not anything special. I have colors similar to this in much better formulas, so I'm going to pass this one on. Then I have a nostalgic palette. Oh my, I'm starting to notice a trend. I have nostalgia problems. This is the Tammy X Carnival palette, and here's the story behind this one. When I actually bought this palette, I had no idea who Tammy was. I do watch her channel now from time to time, and she is so beautiful and so talented. I love her. Her personality is so cute too. I really do love Tammy. But the reason I bought this is not because of her. It's actually not because of the color story, even though the color story is very much up my alley. But the reason I bought it is because my mom's name is Tamara, and some people called her Tammy. So I was at Ulta one day, and the only thing that was calling out to me from the shelf was this palette. And I looked at it, and it said Tammy, and I was like, Mom, are you there? Are you talking to me? Like, I could hear her. No, I'm kidding. It's not that deep. But it really was because of that. I was like, it's a sign. My mom is talking to me. My mom is telling me to buy this. I need to buy okay. I got a little bit of problems up there, but it's okay. It was right around the time where I lost her, so, you know, I was going through it, guys. I was going through it, and I deserved to treat myself. It was also on sale, I believe. I think I remember it being on sale. I don't really know. I don't really care. It's actually a pretty good formula. Revolution, in my opinion, is like Russian roulette. Sometimes you'll get a good product like this palette, and then other times you get some not so good products like some of the palettes I'm about to talk about. But this is good. I like this. The yellow did get hard pan. I don't know what that's all about, but I like it. It's nostalgic. I'm keeping it, and I really don't care what you have to say. So then I have the Revolution Roxy, Roxosaurus, whatever it's called. I'm not really sure who she is either. I believe it's a she. I honestly don't know who this person is. I'm sorry. But the reason I bought this palette is because again, for some reason, I really like to play Russian roulette when I go to Marshall's. So I saw it for $5 and was like, oh, why not? It's not bad. It's not bad. But again, it's not that great either. I feel like that's kind of just how Revolution is. I have a highlighter from them, though, that I absolutely adore. The Nightmare Before Christmas one. Really do love that highlighter. But this is just, it's alright. And I feel like that's as far as Revolution really goes. I do have one palette from them that I think is, like, pretty good. But it doesn't really go beyond good. It doesn't ever get to great. It's not here to rag on Revolution. I can make a good look out of it. Like, it just takes some time to build. It takes some time to blend. It's not the fastest look I'll get, but it can come together. I can pull it together. And this palette did create a pretty look. It created a couple pretty looks. I wasn't mad at it. I just don't really need it. So I'm going to let this one go as well. Then I have the only Revolution palette that actually made me take a double take. This is the Integrity palette. Guys, this is actually really good. I got this for $5 again at Marshall's, and I am pleasantly surprised with this one. Beautiful, bright color story, and it's actually a really good quality. I mean, they're very pigmented, but I don't have a hard time blending them either. I'm really happy with this palette, and I am keeping it. But the issue with this palette is I was like taken aback. I was like, oh my goodness, this is actually really good. Like, I need the rest of this collection, because they had 3 eyeshadow palettes with all the like animal print thing. I don't know. I don't really like animal print, if I'm being honest. So the packaging really wasn't for me, but like, we're here for the makeup, not the packaging, you know what I mean? So I went back to Marshall's looking for the other 2, and unfortunately they were there. So I bought them, and I did not need to. But I thought they would be as good as the Integrity one, and it's not even that they're bad. This one is the Fierce one. This is probably, like, if I was ranking the 3, this would be second place. It's not bad. The quality is pretty good. But this color story, I don't really reach for. The oranges are kind of cute, and I've used it a couple times, but it wasn't, like, enough to really stand out in my collection. If I'm being honest, if I want an orange look, my Sassy Sienna's palette from Dose of Colors does it for me. I don't need anything else. And I just don't need this. So I'm letting this one go. And then I also picked up the Courage palette, and this is the one I really regret picking up, because this color story is seriously not me. It's not me, guys. I'm not ragging on it. I'm not here to shame you if this is your color story, because I love the fact that everyone's different. That's why there was 3 different palettes, Raven. You didn't need the whole collection. There's 3 for a reason. 3 different types of people. We got your colorful lovers. We got your peachy nude lovers. And then we have the neutrals. I am not a neutral lover, and I should have just accepted that without having to buy this to find that out. I don't really know. And if I am going to reach for a neutral palette, it's not going to be this one. It's gone. It's gone. We're over that. And lastly, we have a palette that I wish was a little bit better, but it's not bad either. I feel like that's an ongoing thing with Revolution. It's like, it's not bad, but it's not good. It's like, you know, the Reloaded palette, that was not good. I'll be honest on that one. But this is the Nightmare Before Christmas palette, and when I bought this, I bought it for the packaging, and I'm still keeping it for the packaging, and that's okay by me. I have a video where I unbox this collection, actually. I also have a video where I do a 2 looks, 1 palette with this palette, and that's about as much use as this palette got. This is huge. Way too much going on, in my opinion. We really only needed, like, half of this. I'm not inspired. I'm a little overwhelmed when I look at it, and also, I don't know, it's all over the place. If I'm being honest, the formula is all over the place in this palette. Like, some of them are, like, pretty good. Some of them are like, okay, I like that. And then others are like, what is on my eye right now? Am I gonna get an eye infection? I don't know. Yeah. So, I did create 2 looks. Thankfully, the 2 that I did on camera came out pretty decent. Not perfect, but they were alright. And then I did like 1 other look with this palette, and it wasn't good, guys. It wasn't good. I'm glad I didn't film it. But I am keeping it for the packaging. I'm gonna display it. That's kind of the point of why I bought it, so I'm not mad, but could have been a lot better. Could have been a lot. Could have been a lot more Revolution. I expect more. I really don't expect much from them at all, but it'd be cool if you did more, okay? Okay. However, I will say the highlighter and the lip glosses in this collection, a bomb. Bomb. Love them so much. I went back for the 0 lip gloss. I originally only had the Oogie Boogie. I went back. That's how good it was. Like, bomb. Peachy Queen. Let's get Peachy Queen out of the way because I'm not getting rid of any of their palettes because they have an amazing quality formula and I love them so, so much. But let's go through them really quickly, shall we? We have the Peachy Queen Sweet Dreams Freddy Krueger eyeshadow palette, and I love this palette. It is so, so cute. I did a holiday inspo look with this on my channel, so check that out. This is so pretty. I don't like pressed glitters, and there are 2 in this palette, but these pressed glitters are really pretty. I actually used them in the look I did, and I used them on Christmas. This is actually what I wore on Christmas Day. Yes, I know. It's so cute. I love it. I really do. I'm keeping it. My favorite Peachy Queen palette, though, is my Sriracha palette. This was in my 2020 favorites video, and for good reason. This is such a cute palette. Not only is the theming adorable, but I love a good red and yellow palette. I do think they could have added a green. A green would have made this palette perfect. But besides that, this palette is gorgeous and on the eyes, incredible. I actually used this to do my ladybug look here on my channel if you want to check that out. It's a beautiful palette. It performs so nicely. I can't say enough great things about Peachy Queen's formula, so we're going to stop rambling. We have the Pumpkin Spice palette. This is not as autumn as I wanted it to be. I feel like the tones in here are a lot more spring than they are fall, if I'm being honest, but that's okay. I still love this. The pans are huge, and I'm not really sure why these are so much bigger than the other 2 I just showed you. I don't know, but I'm not mad at it. You know, it is what it is. The prices are pretty reasonable on Peachy Queen's website. They also do sales quite often, which I love, and I like this palette a lot, and I love the looks I've created with this palette. I just feel like it could have been a little bit more deep fall, autumn tones for a pumpkin spice palette. Then we have the Kush Queen palette. This is my last palette from Peachy Queen, and I'm not huge on the theming, but the palette inside is just so pretty. I couldn't say no. On Black Friday, I did pick this one up along with the pumpkin spice, and I'm so happy I did. It performs beautifully. Like I said, the formula is so good, and I think that on all of these, so I'm keeping them all. Next, let's go through another stack I'm not getting rid of anything from, and that is Dose of Colors. Dose of Colors is one of my favorite indie brands, and I love them so much. Peachy Queen is also an indie brand. I always forget to mention when brands are indie brands. I should get better about that. I'm trying. But anyway, so I do have one palette from Dose of Colors that I'm like, I don't know if I need to keep you. You kind of give me a headache to look at. And I'm sure most of you know which palette I'm talking about. That is going to be their very first eyeshadow palette, which is the Hidden Treasure palette. Look at the inside of this and tell me it doesn't give you a migraine. Why? I know, I get it. They were trying to be original, trying to be different. It was their first palette. They've gotten better, thank goodness. But the placement in this gives me a headache looking at it. I'm not trying to be rude, but like, there's so much wasted space. There's literally no reason for it being all over the place. It's just all over the place, and my mind does not like to comprehend this. It kind of hurts. I kind of want to get rid of it just for that, which is really a shame because the shadows in here are actually really good. And I love Dose of Colors, so it's like really hard for me, but I really get mad looking at it. Like, I'm so like, I have a little bit of OCD, so when I look at this, it really grinds the gears in my head, and I don't love it. I'm on the fence. I'm putting it in the maybe pile. Maybe we can depot it. If I could depot it, oh, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I don't know. Are they magnetic? I could get some sticky stuff and put them in a magnetic palette. That's probably what I'll do because I might do that. I'm going to put this in the maybe pile for now though, but I think that's what I'm going to do. Then I have the Blushing Berries palette. This is so beautiful. I love this so much. Their 5-pan matte eyeshadow palettes, to die for. I love their 5-pan palettes in general. They're just so good. They're so cute. Look at how pretty she is. And the pigmentation is insane. I love these so much. And it's funny because I feel like their aesthetic isn't really mine. Like, I'm more of a shimmer heavy person. I love shimmers, you know? But, like, this is an all matte palette. But this is such a good companion palette. All of their 5-pan matte palettes are just such good companion palettes. I love them to die for. This is one of my favorite Dose of Colors palettes, by the way. But my all-time favorite Dose of Colors palette is definitely the Sassy Siennas. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I love it so much. This was in my 2020 favorites video, and I don't think it'll ever not be a favorite. It has the most beautiful burnt oranges. I am obsessed. I'm obsessed. I love orange eyeshadow, but this is the palette that does it for me. And then we have the Snow Angels palette, and this is a really beautiful, like, winter-esque palette, but I mean, you could use it for any time of year, but this is just so cute. I picked this up on Black Friday, and I'm so happy I did. I got an amazing deal on it, and I'm just really very happy with it. This is the Smoky Cerise. I got this for Christmas. My brother and my sister picked this one up for me, and it is super duper cute. This one does have 2 shimmers in it, and so does the next one I'm about to talk about. But another great 5-pan palette. We also have the Cutting Edge palette. I love this color story. Grungy greens are my favorite, and this one does have 2 shimmers as well. Super duper cute, and I really do love it. And my last Dose of Colors palette is the Minnie Mouse eyeshadow palette. This one is really cute as well. I do prefer their 5-pans. I'm not really sure why. The formula on here is still really good. I don't know. Whenever I think of Dose of Colors, I think of their 5-pans. It's kind of their thing, and it's just, I like that for them, you know? I think it works. But this is super cute as well, so I'm keeping it. This might come to a surprise to some of you, but I do only have one AVH palette, and that is the Riviera Palette. I wasn't going to pick this up originally. I really wasn't. But then, it was at Marshall's for, I think, $15, $12. It was something super affordable, and again, I don't have any other Anastasia palettes, so I was like, maybe I should have one, you know? Like, maybe just, what if I bought it? Like, what if? But this is what she looks like, and it's a pretty palette. I mean, I could have lived without it, if I'm being honest. It's not my favorite formula. It's not bad. I feel like the packaging is kind of cute. I like the sailor theme. I don't know. It's not, like, revolutionary in any way, and I feel like the shadows are a little bit powdery. I feel like the mattes are, like, alright. The shimmers, though, the shimmers are pretty cute. There are some pretty unique shimmers in this palette, and I think I'm going to keep it solely because of that. So, yeah. Also because it's my only AVH palette. And, like, I'm a beauty influencer, and I feel like not a lot of us can say that we have one or none, so I'm gonna at least have the one, you know? I have two Hank and Henry palettes. This is the Spring Fling palette, which I'm excited to use in the spring. I got this on BoxyCharm add-ons for like $9, which was a super affordable deal. And their formula is actually really good. So I'm very happy that I did grab this one. I'm also really happy that I grabbed the Sweet Tooth palette from them. This is a pastel palette that I really do enjoy. And it is super, super cute. I really love the color stories on both of these palettes. And again, I picked this up for like $9 on Boxy add-on. Boxy add-on is one of my favorite things ever because you can get some really killer deals, and I'm very happy that I have both of these and I'm keeping them both. Next, I have an indie brand that I absolutely adore, and I also recently found out is a Black-owned indie brand, which is super duper cool. That is Ace Beauty. I have the Scarlet Dusk palette, which is so beautiful. I use this in companion with one of my Divina shadows to create my Valentine's Day look, and it is on my channel if you want to check that out. But this palette is such a beautiful berry toned cutie. I love her so much, and I'm definitely keeping her. The Ace Beauty formula is just divine. I have a lot of their products and I love them all, including the Ace Beauty Nostalgia palette that I just got in my most recent BoxyCharm box, and I am so over the moon happy that I have this. It's so pretty. I've been wanting this for quite some time, and I was originally going to purchase it myself, but for some reason I just never got around to it. But it is so beautiful, and I love the look I created with this. I can't wait to use this more, and I'm definitely keeping it. I have one Nomad Cosmetics palette, and this is the Berlin Underground palette. This is a funny story. My friend told me to pick this one up, and so I did. I have not used this on my channel yet. I am so sorry, Catherine, but I will hopefully get around to it one of these days. I did use this, though, for the first time the other day, and here's the deal. I was a little bit taken aback because there's barely any mattes in this palette, so I didn't know that when I purchased it. I did get this on Postmark for like $9, so I'm really not mad. But I didn't expect there to be so many satins, not even shimmers. There's a lot of satins in this palette, which I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm more of a give me shimmer or give me matte, you know what I mean? But sometimes satins can make for a cute look. And when I created a look with this, I was kind of like, I didn't know how I felt about it at first. But then the more I wore it throughout the night, I was like, ooh, I look really cute. Like I felt really pretty in it. So it was like one of those weird things where you're like putting it on and you're like, I don't know how I feel about this look. And then when you look at yourself in the mirror like an hour later, you're like, oh, I look good. Like, I don't know. Sometimes that happens, and that's how I felt about this one. I do want to use this more, and I would like to use this on my channel at some point, so I am going to keep it. Next, I have this Fill Up Orange from Touch and Soul palette, and my sister actually gave this to me. I wanted it when she gave it to me, but I think it was maybe just because it was a palette, as bad as that sounds, because the placement in this one also gives me a migraine. I don't know why brands think it's cute to do like random placement. Like, there's no order. How is that flattering? It does not look good. No, it doesn't look... I don't see it. I don't see their vision there. It's also very neutral, and there is a pressed glitter right there, which I'm never going to use. I think I can skip on this one, so I am going to pass this on. I have another gift that I am decluttering, and I apologize in advance. Please don't be upset. I just have so many palettes, guys. I really don't want to just keep things because I feel inclined to. I should keep things because I really genuinely want to. You know what I mean? Plus, I want someone else to be able to really love these palettes because they deserve love, you know? Just because I don't want to give it to them doesn't mean someone else doesn't, you know? But anyways, this is the Paris Hilton Glam Star palette, and this was okay. I used it, and it was okay. I wasn't mad at it. I just don't love the packaging for one. It's really hard to open, and it's just kind of annoying. It's also got a lot going on in here. I'm not huge on big palettes, and also there's a lot of pressed glitters in this palette. It's nothing against the palette or the person who gifted it to me. I'm actually very grateful for the palette. I just don't need it, and I just don't think I'm going to use it enough to justify having it in my collection. So I'm going to pass this one on. Then I have the Carity Come As You Are palette. I'm upset because this was the cutest theme ever. Come As You Are. We all know Nirvana, don't we? I hope so, because I love Nirvana. I miss Kurt Cobain. That's a soul that I wish I could have had the honor to meet, but also the color story, so cute. It's a grungy fantasy in here. However, the formula is absolutely terrible. I'm not trying to be rude, I'm really not, but I cannot get this to swatch. Like, the swatches I did of this, and when I tried to use it on my eye, I was, like, scared it was gonna, like, give me an eye infection because it was bad. So patchy. Like, there's barely any pigment. Some of these shadows had hard pan before I even got to use them, just from swatching, and I couldn't get it to work for me, and I'm definitely decluttering it. But it was such a bummer though, because the theming on that and the color story, I mean, so cute. It could have been so good. You win some, you lose some, right? Then I have this little Ulta Beauty Bloom palette, and this was basically what you would expect it to be. It was okay. It's very boring and not for me, so I'm gonna let it go. I have this Ciate London The Editor palette. This is good, guys. I got this in a Boxy Charm box, and I'm honestly not mad at it, okay? So this is a really pretty neutral with some pops palette. I love this so much. The formula on it is really good. I actually liked this so much that I actually bought another one for my mother-in-law for Christmas, and I hope she loves it as much as I love mine, because it's just really good. And I'm not huge on neutrals, but with those little pops of color, I think this is a really pretty neutral palette. This is a neutral palette done right, in my opinion, and I'm really happy to have it. I'm keeping it. However, it's funny because I just talked so highly about that Ciate London palette, but we have the Velvet Ciate London palette, and this isn't bad, okay? Before I wanna rag on it, I do, but it's not bad, it's just not for me. The color story on it is not for me, obviously. It's very neutral. I want to say it's boring, but if this does it for you, then I'm very happy for you. However, the ruffle pans, or whatever you want to call that, I don't understand why they did that. I don't see the vision there. I just think it's kind of annoying. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm really not. I just don't really care for this, and I don't think I'm ever going to use it. I honestly regret swatching it because I could have gifted it to someone, and I didn't think that through, because when I was unboxing it, I was just like, oh, you want to see swatches? We'll swatch it, and then I realized I never needed to do that. So, whatever, but I'm going to give this to someone because it's never been used. It's just been swatched. So, someone will be very happy. Just not me. Next, I have this Milani Gilded Jade palette, and here's the deal on this palette. I actually like this palette quite a bit. It's got a really pretty color story. I really do like this. I just don't use it very often, and I'm kind of upset with myself, if I'm being honest. So I don't know if I need to keep it. So I am going to put this in the maybe pile for now. Next, I have this Cara Beauty palette. This is the Tropical Vibes eyeshadow palette, and this isn't bad. It's not. It's big, though. It's very big, and I am not huge into big eyeshadow palettes anymore, like I've been saying, so I am going to let somebody else get some love out of this one. Next, I have this Pure Midnight Masquerade palette. I've been honestly unsure about how I feel about this palette for quite some time now. I've decided I'm gonna let it go. It's actually pretty cute. It's got some blush toppers in there. Then we have a 6-pan eyeshadow palette. I love that green shimmer in there. It's a cute palette. I'm not mad at it at all. I just don't use it, and just because it's pretty doesn't mean I have to keep it. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you can appreciate things from afar, and Raven needs to learn how to do that. We don't need to own every beautiful thing. We just don't. So I'm gonna let this one go. And I'm going to end this part of the video with the NYX Ultimate Bright palette. This was a rainbow palette I was so excited to have. This was before I had most of my other rainbow palettes. I say most because I did have like 2 still. I've always had a rainbow palette in my collection. It's a staple for me, if I do say so. But this was one of my first, and I was so disappointed, guys. This is so lackluster. I bought the NYX neutral one for my sister, and she seems to really enjoy it. So that one probably is better than this one. But this, I know formulating some colors can be harder, so maybe that's why. I'm really disappointed though, because NYX hardly ever disappoints me, but with eyeshadow, I'm very skeptical now. I've heard some good reviews about some of their other palettes, and like I said, my sister really enjoys the neutral ones she has. So maybe I just got a bad one. Like, maybe this is just not the palette to try. But I also heard pretty good reviews about this palette, so I was very confused when I got mine. Maybe I got a dud, who knows, but it's not it. I have so many other bright, colorful palettes that I would much rather dive into when I want a colorful eyeshadow look, which is like every day, but it's never gonna be this palette, and I'm sad about it, but maybe someone else can find a way to get this to work, and maybe they just like more subtle things, and maybe this will be that for them, you know? I don't know. Not my preference, and I'm gonna declutter it. Alright guys, so now let's go back to the maybe pile. I'm getting really tired and hungry, so I'm gonna wrap this video up, and we'll do part 2 later on. But please stay tuned for that, because Hopefully part 2 will be a little bit better. But let's go through our maybe pile and then we'll count up everything that we decluttered today. So back to the maybe pile. We have the Milani Gilded Jade palette. This is really, it's hard for me because this is actually a really nice palette and it's super affordable, which we love. And the color story is cute. I don't know. If we're gonna get my palettes down to 100, I'm gonna have to make some sacrifices. So I am gonna let this one go. I know someone will get a lot of love out of this because this is a great palette. Then we had the Dose of Colors palette. Now I'm pretty sure if I destroy the packaging on this, I can get these shadows out because, again, I cannot stand the placement. It really does drive me nuts, but I think I can make this work because if I put these in a magnetic palette or whatever, I would definitely get way more use out of these shadows if I did that. So I'm going to put this to the reconstruction side of my room and hopefully I actually do that. And lastly, we had the Urban Decay palettes. Oh, this is still so hard for me, guys. Even though I don't ever use them, it shouldn't be that hard for me to let go of these. I am being ridiculous. I am. I'm gonna let go of the wired one because I know someone will get love out of this. It's just not going to be me. And then the Naked Cherry. Oh man, I don't think I need it. No, I definitely don't. We got rid of the wired one. Is that not good enough? I'm sorry. I am going to keep it. I'm going to keep it for a little while longer. I'm going to try and reach back into this and see. I don't know. I'm going to mess around with this, play around with it a bit. I do like this, and I remember loving it in its prime. I have things I like more now, but maybe I should give it another shot. Maybe I should, you know? Maybe. Maybe it won't stick around next time we do a declutter, but for now, I'm going to keep it. Alright guys, I'm going to quickly now count how many we got decluttered today, and then we'll wrap it up. So, I'll be right back. Alright guys, so today we decluttered a total of 21 eyeshadow palettes, which sounds good. However, if I want to meet the 70 mark, that means I'm going to have to declutter a total of 49 eyeshadow palettes in our next part of this decluttering. That's a lot. That's a lot, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. But stay tuned to see if I do, of course. We will find out next week. I'm like on a reality TV show. Ooh. So I'm not really impressed with how many we got decluttered today, if I'm being honest, just because of that mark we need to meet to make me satisfied. So we'll see. I do have a lot to still go through, so who knows what's going to happen next week. But yeah, I hope we had some fun today. I hope you're not judging me by the abundance of eyeshadow palettes I have because I'm judging myself. But yes, I hope you have a wonderful day and stay beautiful. Mwah.